Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am an astrologer and I make videos all about astrology. Okay, so in today's video we're going to be discussing the ever so popular and interesting topic of astrocartography. So what is it? What does it all mean in simple terms but also detailed terms? And what can you expect whenever you travel to or live on certain planetary lines? Planetary lines? What are those? You will find out. So stay tuned. But before we do dive into today's video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and click the bell. And if you are interested in a personal reading from myself, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology ebooks and merch. All the links will be in the description box below. I do hope that you find this video to be helpful. It's going to be a long one. Let's do this. So I made a video about astrocartography about 4 years ago, but I'm back with a newer and updated version. Though what exactly is astrocartography? Well, it's a method of locational astrology. It describes how your astrological placements affect the way you experience particular countries, states, regions, cities, and so on. Will you fall in love with a destination, or will you fall in love with someone from a particular city? Or will you feel like something is terribly off as soon as you arrive? Is there a certain beauty about a place that leaves you mesmerized? Or do you go through one mishap after another? Maybe your dream city is calling your name. Then again, perhaps there is a specific reason why you're visiting somewhere. This could be for university purposes or work purposes. Perhaps you only go on holiday for a couple of weeks, or you stay for a longer period of time, or maybe that destination becomes your home. Interestingly, in Europe, astrocartography used to be referred to as astrogeography, and it was astrologer Jim Lewis who introduced this locational astrology in the 1970s. Thanks to Jim Lewis, astrocartography was developed and it grew in popularity. And I believe the word astrocartography essentially means star map. And this system basically produces a map of the world with all of these lines across it, which I will show you. It takes the elements basically of your natal chart placements and just lays them out on the map. And the many lines on the map show the places where planets are conjunct the house cusp of the angular houses. So the AC, which is the personal / projected identity, the DC, which is your relationship / shadow identity, the IC, which is your emotional / inner identity, and then the MC, which is your public / social identity. So you look at this map to see where in the world best suits your needs. So on that note, let's just go over a quick tutorial on how to find your map, and then I'll explain more about this. So basically we're going to be using astro.com. Thank you to astro.com for their free chart generators. So simply go to free horoscopes, then select locational astrology, followed by AstroClick travel. And this goes without saying, make sure you have all of your birth information filled in before you do this. So just using my chart as an example, the red circle with the cross is your place of birth. It's going to show you your place of birth. So I have Jupiter conjunct my ascendant, the AC. And from this map, you can see that the Jupiter AC line is quite close to my place of birth. Then the next planet that is closest to an angular house in my chart is Pluto. So Pluto is in the third house in my chart, and you can see then that the Pluto IC, the Pluto Eumcoli line, it's here. And then the next one over from that is the North Node IC line, and I have the North Node in the fifth house. Now, can you imagine being someone who has tons of planets closely conjunct an angular house? So their ascendant, their descendant, their Eumcoli, or their midheaven. I mean, it must be some experience for them, especially growing up in their home country. Still, when you relocate, travel to, stay in, or visit a new destination, you can experience different planetary lines. So for instance, if I was to visit certain parts of China, my Jupiter MC line would be activated. Or if I was to move to New York City, both my Venus descendant and Neptune descendant lines would be activated. And it's these lines that can tell me something about the kind of experience I might have in those particular locations. Furthermore, in the older video I made on this topic, I talked about the difference between visiting somewhere and living somewhere. Foolishly and ignorantly and perhaps egotistically, I said I lived in the US and Canada when really I should have said I stayed there. I have stayed in the US, Canada, and Australia for extensive periods of time, and so perhaps what I experienced in those destinations, well, my experiences are going to be a lot different in comparison to visiting somewhere, like Paris for 4 days, for example. And then moving to and living permanently in a place is going to be a lot different in comparison to staying for 4 months in a location. With that being said though, the planetary lines can give some information about these things as well. So for instance, if you travel to a Saturn line, perhaps you end up staying much longer, or it's for work purposes, business purposes. Or if you travel to a Mercury line, perhaps you're only there for a few days, or you go back and forth frequently. Or if you relocate to a Pluto line, perhaps moving to that place permanently, it transforms you in some way. Now, there are 40 lines on the Astrocartography map. Vertical lines show where planets are conjunct the midheaven and the Eumcoli, and the curved lines show where they conjunct the ascendant and the descendant. Perhaps you're curious about the distance of the planetary lines' energies and how they impact you as well. And according to astro.com, you can feel the impacts of lines up to around about 1,000 kilometers, which is about 620 miles. Meaning if you were to live 50 miles from a particular planetary line, you'll most likely feel its energy more strongly in comparison to living 600 miles from that line. I'm just going to insert an image just showing all of the lines. So as you can see from this image, the lines are split into 4 categories, being the AC, DC, IC, MC. And then the colors on this image, they match the colors of the lines shown on astro.com. There is also a Chiron Line and a Nodal Line, and they are in black, similar to Pluto. Also important to note when looking at your map, make sure to consider your birth chart. I'll just give you an example of what I mean. So if you're looking at your Sun MC line, look to see where the Sun is located in your natal chart, the sign and the house placement of the Sun, along with aspects, of course. Well, these things will tell you more information about that line. So just looking at my own chart, my Venus and Uranus and Neptune AC lines, they are running through Japan. a country that I am dying to visit. And when looking at my natal chart, I have these 3 planets in the 5th house of self-expression and interests, and they're in the sign of Capricorn. I think when I eventually visit Japan one day, I'm going to be super excited and I'll fall in love. Just looking at a couple of past examples here as well. Well, back in 2016, I stayed in California for a short time, and my Saturn MC line runs through California. And it was there that I discovered astrology, which I have now turned into a business. And then when looking at my natal chart, Saturn is in the 6th house in Aquarius, along with the Sun and Mercury, and all of these planets are making a trine to my midheaven in Gemini, so it's quite fitting. And then back in 2014, I visited Athens for my 22nd birthday, and my North Node IC line runs through there. And I felt so comfortable and safe in that city. Personally, it was an incredible experience to be surrounded by ancient Greek ruins and temples, and I do have the North Node in Capricorn in the 5th house. So when looking at your map, see what is going on in your natal chart as well. See what connections can be made there. Now, many astrologers take into consideration daytime versus nighttime charts when it comes to astrocartography. And this is known as astrology of sect. And sect is an ancient astrological concept developed by Hellenistic astrologers. So what happens is that the 7 traditional planets, being the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, they are assigned to 2 different categories, which are diurnal day or nocturnal night. Sect. I don't know if I'm pronouncing those correctly. Let's hope so. So, the Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn, they are day planets. And then the Moon, Venus, and Mars, they are night planets. And then Mercury can switch between day and night. So if you have a day chart, your Sun will typically be in houses 7 through 12. And if you have a night chart, your Sun will typically be in houses 1 through 6. And when looking at locational astrology, the malefic planets being Saturn and Mars, and then the benefic planets being Jupiter and Venus, they are looked at for more information regarding a person's experience in a particular destination. So if you have a day chart, your malefic planet is Mars, suggesting greater challenge. And your benefic is Jupiter, suggesting a happier experience. But then if you have a night chart, your malefic is Saturn, suggesting greater challenge, and then your benefic is Venus, suggesting a pleasant experience. Naturally, also consider the placements of these planets in your chart. So just using my own chart as an example, I have a night chart. So I've got the Sun in the 6th house, meaning Venus is my benefic and then Saturn is my malefic. My Saturn AC line runs through Australia in my chart, and I did experience many challenges when I stayed there, not to mention my Chiron DC descendant line runs through that country, so I'll let you do the maths. It wasn't all bad though, of course, okay? The Sun AC line and then the Moon IC line, they run through there as well, and I did have a few fun experiences too. Then just looking at Venus, the Venus DC line runs through New York, and then the Venus IC line runs through Turkey in my chart, and I had some very enjoyable experiences in both of these destinations. Cappadocia is a place I'll never forget. Beautiful, ancient place, and Istanbul was incredible. Also, walking through the streets of New York City, playing Welcome to New York by Taylor Swift. I mean, what a great feeling that was. Another thing though that I want to touch on is to do with zeniths. So these circles you see right here, they are known as zeniths, and they are only shown on MC lines. The MC, so the midheaven, is opposite the IC, the Imam Coli, and if you travel to or live in a place where one of your zeniths are located, you will feel the influence of that MC planetary line very strongly. In the natal chart, the 10th house contains the zenith, and then the 4th house contains the nadir. And the MC/IC points, they can be different. They can be in different houses in your chart. So that's just something to keep in mind. Though it's kind of funny because most of my zeniths are in the Pacific Ocean by islands. So that's fun, I guess, or maybe just pointless. So there is a quick theory that I want to touch on, and that is, even if you don't travel to these planetary lines throughout your map, well, perhaps there is also a way to bring that destination's culture or feel to you. So just let me explain. A few years ago, someone from Austria visited me in my home country of Northern Ireland, and so did someone from Israel. Whilst I didn't travel to their home countries, I was still able to learn from their views and their beliefs. Not to mention, learning about a new destination or culture can be done via reading or just learning in general, such as deciding to learn a new language or feeling a strong interest in a particular city or country. Basically here, perhaps others from different countries can bring the energy of our planetary lines with them. They can bring these planetary lines energies to us. So one more thing I do want to mention before we talk about these planetary lines, and that is to do with another theory that I've read online, saying that the natal chart can change depending on the location you're in. Stay with me here, okay? Of course, technically speaking, your natal chart doesn't change, but let's say, for example, you were born in New York, in America, and then you moved to LA when you were 3. Let's say you were 3 years old. Well, some astrologers change the time of birth to match up with the time zone. So maybe in New York, you had an Aquarius rising, but due to you being in LA, which is 3 hours behind the time in New York, your rising sign is changed to Capricorn or Sagittarius. Now, I don't know how accurate this theory is. It's just something that I read online and I thought it was interesting to share. But of course, it's really up to yourselves to look further into it if you wish. All right, so let's get into these planetary lines, which, by the way, do keep in mind that planetary lines can overlap, all right? So, for example, as you can see here on my map, the Pluto DC line and the Mercury MC line, they cross in Idaho in America. So the blend of your planetary lines, can change things. And also, to make things simple, I'll not be splitting things into AC, DC, IC, MC, but briefly just overall, alright? Any ascendant line is connected with your personal projected identity. Any descendant line is connected with your relationship shadow identity. Any Imam Coli line is connected with your emotional inner identity. And any midheaven line is connected with your public social identity. Therefore, consider these types of identities as I go through each planetary line. So let's begin with the moon line. In this destination, you will perhaps feel very comfortable, as if you belong. This place can quite literally be somewhere you relocate to, therefore becoming your new home. Something about the culture and the way of life will make you feel soft and warm inside. It can be a very sentimental place as well. You might form some type of close bond with people there, or you might feel a strong attachment to this destination. You want to learn about the history, the food, the people, and feeling right at home is likely, even if you are only visiting for a short period of time. There's just something about this place that makes you feel supported, safe, and emotionally secure. Creating traditions is also likely, such as traveling to this place every year with your family, or perhaps you visit often with your family, or it could be that you visit family at this location. Then again, you might even be particularly protective and emotional when you stay here or when you visit, or you might feel homesick. The Sun Line. In this destination, you'll light up and feel alive. You might also feel super energized, happy, and joyful. It's a place that will make you want to do fun activities. Putting yourself out there is likely, meaning you'll feel greater confidence and you'll want to try exciting new things. Entertainment is likely, and finding new people to talk to and hang out with is also likely. Perhaps you receive more compliments, praise, attention, admiration in this place, or it's a favorite holiday destination for you. You enjoy going so much that you would choose this place time and time again. Yeah, you'll want to enjoy your time here, or maybe you're willing to spend more money. You'll want to treat yourself, shop, eat out, and party. Then again, you might be somewhat dramatic, or your pride might get the better of you. Perhaps you put yourself before others. The Mercury Line. You'll be curious about this destination and you'll want to learn everything there is to know about its culture. You'll have so many questions and you're willing to communicate with the people around you. You might be chatty, friendly, and social in this location. If there is something you want to know, you're likely to investigate. Networking in this place is likely. You'll build up your contacts list. Perhaps you stay for short periods of time here, or you visit frequently, you visit often. Maybe you must visit often for work purposes or for trading purposes, or it could be that you go to school on this line. Perhaps there is an educational reason for your trip, essentially. Or it's that you visit with friends or siblings or with your aunts and uncles or cousins. Maybe you don't necessarily develop a strong attachment to this place, but you think about it often, okay? It's on your mind often. Then again, you might not have a filter in this location. You just say things or share things without thinking, and before you know it, you've got yourself into trouble because of something you said. The Venus Line. Oh, this line, I really like this line. I've had some great experiences on my Venus lines, and to be fair, also some terrible experiences. Still love it though, still love these lines. Though to be fair, my Venus and Neptune lines, they do come as a package because they are the same degree in my chart, so yay me. Still, okay, you could quite literally fall in love in this destination, or you'll fall in love with the destination. You'll love the people and the culture. You'll love the atmosphere, or the vibe, as many people say today. You'll see the beauty in your surroundings, and this place just might steal your heart. You'll possibly want to return back so badly to experience it all over again due to the pleasurable experiences you had. It's a place that you've wanted to visit perhaps for as long as you can remember, or it could be that you travel with your partner, with your significant other, or with a close friend, and this location becomes your location as a couple, as a team. It could be that you get proposed to on this line, or it's a great anniversary / honeymoon destination, or it could be that you visit for business reasons, seeing as Venus can be connected with business associates as well, or maybe you make good money from this destination or within this destination, or you yourself feel beautiful, or you feel wealthy, like you have plenty, then again, maybe you get surgeries or you pay greater attention to your appearance. You might possibly be more self-conscious. The Mars line. You most likely won't rest in this destination. There will just be so much to do, perhaps too much, or you might feel driven and motivated to pursue all of your goals. You'll set yourself goals while visiting, or you'll push yourself to do things whilst you're there. It's as if you want to go to bed at the end of each day knowing you achieved something. You'll feel like things are just go, go, go. The time you spend in this location will most likely fly by as well because of how fast everything feels. You'll arrive and before you know it, you're leaving. Just so busy. High energy too. Moreover, this destination will push you to be independent. Perhaps it'll push you to take risks such as solo traveling or trying something courageous and just being brave. I know for me, when I visited Toronto, which is near my Mars DC line, I took a trip out west on my own, so the west of Canada, and it was one of the most exciting trips of my life. Did I do risky things? Yes. Was I foolish? Yes. Did I potentially get myself into dangerous situations? Yes. But was I young and really immature? Yes. Would I do those things again? Most likely not. Then again, perhaps this is a place where you get angry at others more easily. You become easily annoyed, you become impatient, or perhaps you are more open sexually, okay? You might sleep with someone from this destination, for example, or maybe you are more assertive. You're willing to act on the things you want. The Jupiter line. You will feel larger than life in this destination, as if you're on top of the world. Perhaps you even feel immortal, like you can do anything. This is a place where you are more adventurous, wild, and free. You'll be smiling from ear to ear as if you're just overjoyed with happiness. You'll want to explore and do so many exciting things, and you might experience greater opportunities. There is a greater desire to expand and grow, and you might even move to this location for university purposes, for educational purposes, similar to the Mercury Line. Though funny enough, I was born near my Jupiter ascendant line because I have Jupiter conjunct my ascendant in my chart. And whilst I have traveled to different countries, it's my home country in which I have grown the most. I'm learning that, true happiness comes from within. Well, at least I'm trying to. Also, this is the ultimate wanderer destination, and the amount of wisdom and knowledge you will gain will just be off the charts. There is an amazingness about this destination. You'll count your blessings here. Then again, perhaps you'll push your luck as well, or perhaps you take things for granted in this place. You might even expect too much from others or from yourself. The Saturn Line. So this destination will shape you. That is for sure. And if you don't see the results now, just give it 10 years. This location will teach you a lot about responsibility. It'll teach you hard lessons and truths. Again, you might not recognize these lessons whilst you're there, at least not fully. Just give it time, and provided you do the work, then you'll recognize what you've learned. Essentially, when you're older and more grown, perhaps you'll look back on your experiences in this place and you'll think, holy crap, I can't believe that happened, and now I'm here. Traveling to this location can give you the motivation and the discipline you need to kickstart your career perhaps, or Maybe you'll discover your purpose or a new a new purpose, a new calling. Also, you might feel the utmost respect for its people. Success, achievement, status, and recognition, they are likely, but you can also experience setbacks, delays, hardships, and blockages. Perhaps you move to this place for career or status purposes. The Uranus line. Okay, so things are going to feel exuberant and chaotic in this destination. Things might get a little weird or very weird. Things are going to get kind of crazy, so expect the unexpected and try not to travel here with any expectations. Don't have any expectations when you travel. Go with an open mind because you're going to be amazed, you're going to be startled, surprised. Yeah, anything you think going in will not be what you think when you leave. Essentially here, things are going to be turned upside down and you quite literally will have messy hair by the end of it. It's not really a location where you can plan things, so just go with it. You'll most likely enjoy it more that way. You'll feel also electrified with wonder, curiosity, fascination. The culture and people will make you rethink your entire existence. Now, I remember in 2012, I stayed and worked in Florida by a Uranus descendant line, and it was unlike anything I had ever experienced. It was a chaotic time. I was 20 years old during that time, and I can't believe I'm now 30, so it's like, what the hell? But yes, this destination is going to awaken your inner chaos because there will be so many surprises happening around you. It'll be so different, but in a good way. Then again, it can also suggest breaking the rules and perhaps taking things a bit too far. The Neptune line. So visiting this destination will have you feeling like you're in a dream or in a movie. Honestly, it can feel like you just walked into a storybook or a fairy tale, just full of symbolism, just this fantasy world. It can feel like a pinch me moment. I certainly felt this way when I walked through the streets of Istanbul and New York. I was like, is this real life? I'm actually here. Maybe also you'll fall deeply in love with the place, similar to the Venus line, but it'll be much more euphoric, like pure bliss. Or you might feel like you've lived here before in a past life. It's like, I recognize this place. It's like you get deja vu. Or it could be that you have some deep spiritual connection to this place. Perhaps you meet your soulmate or what feels like a soulmate, as if meeting this person or these people was a part of your destiny. It's a place where you can truly let go as you allow for all of your worries to melt away. You feel inner peace. Then again, perhaps you do a lot of healing, a lot of praying, a lot of cleansing, okay? A lot of inner work. Or perhaps it's a place that you visit as a way to escape. Or quite possibly, you lack boundaries in this place. You fall for tricks and con artists much more easily. The Pluto line. You'll most likely transform in this destination as you go through these death and rebirth moments. You're forced to look within yourself, to look at your shadow. Though whether you want to accept your shadow, that is another story. Still, perhaps you address locked memories and emotions that you've buried and hidden deep within yourself. And all of that deep stuff within your psyche will most likely come to light. So all that psychological stuff will come to light when you visit this destination. Again, accepting these things as part of yourself is a whole other thing. And you might reject what you discover, or you might lash out, or you might project what you don't like onto others. Though another possibility is you feel more connected to the supernatural. Also, things can feel intense when you visit or stay, and perhaps you'll purge anything toxic from your emotional and or spiritual body. You could quite literally go on some type of cleanse or a detox, or perhaps having a profound eye-opening experience is likely. The Chiron Line. Something about this destination will be very healing for you. Perhaps painful, as if your wounds are being ripped open, which isn't fun for anyone. Oh yeah, you can be triggered deeply here, but this also gives us the opportunity to mend, heal, and learn. Then again, maybe it's that your healing is tested in a way. You might not become triggered by something that used to trigger you, for example. This location can indeed show you just how much you've worked on yourself, how much inner work you've done potentially, how much of a survivor you are. Also, there's a likelihood of feeling insecure in this location. You might feel uncomfortable or out of place, but again, you can address these tender areas. You can ask yourself why certain places or why certain atmospheres make you feel uneasy and uncomfortable. Also, you might feel this calling to help others, to assist others. Perhaps you want to help them heal in some way, or it's you who seeks guidance from others. You might visit this destination for healing purposes. And lastly, the Nodal Line. This is a destination that can feel like destiny or fate, similar to the Neptune Line, as if it's part of your life mission and purpose. It's a part of your life path. Maybe it's a place that's been calling your name ever since you were little. And you can't quite understand why, but as soon as you visit, everything just makes sense. It's interesting because when I was about 16, 17, I went on my first holiday with my friends abroad. So I went with my friends and their family to Florida. And I will always remember how I felt as we were landing on the plane for the first time. Then from here, you see, my fascination with the USA grew. And funnily enough, I ended up working in Florida, which is on my nodal descendant line. Now, this location is also somewhere that will push you out of your comfort zone rather than holding on to the past. Onwards and upwards, you'll want to start over in this place. And I can relate to this, very much so. Moving here for a long period of time is likely, as well as relocating permanently. However, it's also likely that the past holds you back, as if there is something you're moving away from, but you can't shake it. Though, seeing as the nodes are a back and forth sort of balancing process, perhaps there is also a returning quality to this destination, such as returning home or staying true to yourself. Alright, so that concludes my video on astrocartography, Cosmic Warriors. Please do let me know if you find this video to be helpful. Did you learn something new? Do you have any of your own experiences to share today? I just would really appreciate your feedback because astrocartography is such a fascinating topic. And as always, let us know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section down below. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and also give this video a like if you did like it today. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!